Listen and practice.
One day, some friends were talking. They were talking about how old they were. James said, "I am 7 years old. My brother is older. He is twice as old as me." "How old is my brother?" "That's easy," said Ellen. "You are 7. He is twice as old as you, so your brother is 7 plus 7. He is 14 years old." Then Jane said, "I am 8. I have a baby sister. She is half my age. How old is my sister?" "That's so easy," yelled James. "She is half of 8. So your sister is 4 years old." Chris was thinking hard. There was something on his mind. Then he asked, "How old is a dinosaur?" "A dinosaur?" said the puzzled children. "Yes, how old is a dinosaur?" said Chris again. The children thought really hard. "A dinosaur is old. Very old," said Ellen. "A dinosaur is millions of years old. A dinosaur is old, old, old." The children laughed. James said, "A dinosaur is older than all of us combined."
Listen and practice.
School is out for the summer. Yay! No more studying. Nothing to do but run and play. It's every kid's dream, right? Well, one boy does not think so. His name is Ellis. He wants to keep going to school all summer. "I love school," he says. "Why do we have to take these holidays?" Ellis isn't weird or anything. He just loves school. He thinks there's plenty of time for playing after school. He wonders why kids should have the whole summer off. When Ellis tells his mother that summer will be boring, she smiles and says, "I thought of 50 fun things to do in the summer. Let's see which one you choose." His mom starts reading the list. Going to the beach, reading, playing sports, games, picnics, gardening, volunteering, and, wait! Ellis found one. Teaching seniors how to use computers. That summer, he would be the teacher at school.
Listen and practice.
Once there lived a happy mouse family. They had a beautiful daughter. Mr. and Mrs. Mouse would always say, "Our daughter is the best girl in all the land. We must find the most powerful person to marry her." They decided that the son would be the best person to marry their daughter. So they went on a journey to see the sun. "Sun," they said, "you are most powerful. You shine brightly and bring light everywhere. Will you marry our daughter?" Sun replied, "I am strong and powerful, but Cloud is more powerful than me. Cloud can cover me and hide my light. He will make a good husband." So Mr. and Mrs. Mouse traveled to see Cloud and asked him to marry their daughter. But Cloud said, "I am flattered, but I am not the most powerful. Wind is more powerful. Wind can blow me away with no effort." Mr. and Mrs. Mouse were astonished, but they wanted the best husband for their daughter, so they decided to search for Wind. Soon the mouse parents found Wind. They asked him to marry their daughter. Wind, too, was surprised. He said, "I am not the most powerful. I am strong, yes, but when I come up against a wall, I'm stopped right in my tracks." Discouraged, the two mice went to visit Wall. They asked him to marry their daughter. "I would be honored," said Wall, "but you seek the most powerful of all. I am strong, but as you know, a mouse can chew through me with little effort." Mr. and Mrs. Mouse were amazed. "So we, the mice, are powerful. This is true." And so they returned home. Around the corner from their house there lived a good and honest mouse. He had lived there all his life. Mr. and Mrs. Mouse asked him to marry their daughter. Of course, he did as they asked. The two young mice married and lived a long and happy life together.
Listen and practice.
One day, Freddy came to his father and asked, "Dad, may I borrow your car keys?" "I don't think so," answered his father. "You're not ready to drive yet." Freddy laughed. "Mom locked the car. I just need to get my baseball glove from the front seat." "I see. Here you go," said Dad. "Just don't try to drive." "Thanks," said Freddy. "I'll bring them right back." A couple of minutes later, Freddy got his glove and started walking back. Suddenly, the car started moving. Freddy raced after it, unlocked the door, and grabbed the emergency brake. The car stopped rolling. Dad came running out of the house. "What did you do?" he asked. "I must have hit something while I was getting my glove," answered Freddy. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drive the car." "I know," said Dad. "Accidents happen. I'm glad you acted quickly. But next time you kids want something from the car, I'll get it for you. That made me age way too fast, and I can't afford to do that."
Listen and practice.
Douglas Corrigan was a pilot from the United States. In 1938, he bought a small old plane for $150. He decided to fly from New York to Los Angeles. He looked at his map and planned the trip. But on the day of his flight, the weather was very bad. He couldn't see very well, and he went the wrong way. He turned left, not right. He flew across the Atlantic Ocean. He only had a map of the U.S. with him, and he didn't have any food or water. He finally landed 28 hours and 13 minutes later. But he wasn't in Los Angeles, of course. He was in Dublin, Ireland. The people of Dublin were very surprised to see him. Lots of journalists came to interview him, and the story of his amazing trip was in the newspapers the next day. When Douglas Corrigan finally returned to New York, his friends had a big party for him. And after that, everyone always called him Way Corrigan.
Listen and practice.
We all know what organs are. Things like the heart, lungs, and kidneys are all organs. But Do you know what is the biggest organ of all? Here are some hints. It can be very dark, or it can be very light. It can be very smooth or very rough. That's right, it's skin. Our skin is an amazing thing. Imagine if scientists could invent something that could heal itself. That's exactly what skin does. Adults have more than 11 miles of blood vessels in their skin. Those blood vessels help to keep skin warm or to cool it down. In fact, on a hot summer day, a person can sweat as much as 3 gallons. The reason why there are different colors of skin is pigment. The more pigment you have in your skin, the darker it is. So take care of your skin. Remember, you are going to need it for a long time.
Listen and practice.
Have you ever noticed a little creature called the bee? What an amazing insect! Bees have little feet and big round eyes. They are yellow and black. You see them buzzing around sweet-smelling flowers everywhere. Scientists say that bees are really important. If we did not have bees, there would be no food on Earth. Bees have a short life. They live only about a month, but in that time, they fly up to 14 kilometers from their nest, searching for food. What are they looking for? Worker bees are looking for sweet nectar, which they find on flowers. Then they bring it back to the nest for the queen bee. The queen bee lays about 1,500 eggs each day. During her 3 or 4 year lifetime, one beehive can have 40,000 to 60,000 bees. Have you ever been chased by an angry bee? Well, just remember, a bee can fly about 25 kilometers an hour. Most likely, you will never be able to outrun a bee. So don't be afraid of bees. Just let them do their work. They never stop working. That's why people say, busy as a bee.